Streaming worldwide, this is the Gospel America Television Network. It's time for Real Talk with the Jenkins, featuring Lady MJ, Pastor Marcella Jenkins, and Dr. G, Dr. Gary Jenkins. And now, let's join Real Talk with the Jenkins. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ. And we are the Jenkins.
And somebody who's not a Jenkins, but he is the brand new police chief of the city of San Angelo, none other than Travis Griffith. God bless you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And congratulations to you.
What a great intro, too, by the way.
And we were jokingly saying he's the Popo chief. I think that's going to stick with you.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we are so excited that he's not only the chief of police for the city, but he's our friend and he's my brother.
Yes.
My brother from another mother. We got the same daddy. But anyway, we thank God for him. And Travis, I just want to ask you what went through your mind when you first found out that you won the election at the runoff election?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you're kind of overwhelmed with just joy and just thankful to the Lord for walking through a really long road, and thankful to all the people that were out there helping and part of their celebrating. We had a watch party going on, so it was very joyous.
So now you were sworn in this week as the chief of police.
Yes, sir.
I've never seen the council chambers as crowded that day as it was.
I am blessed beyond all measure. God has provided people in my life that it's a miracle, really, in my life to be able to have that kind of people that support me and help me, and that will help keep me accountable. Right? Many of those people that can pull me aside any given moment, be like, hey, stay on the right path, or ask for advice, or give me advice. Those are all things that are super important to.
What was your position before you became
My
chief?
rank was a sergeant.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been a part of different divisions, everything from being on a special operations group where we did gangs and guns and drugs and stuff like that, and did that for about 5 years. I've been on the hostage negotiation team for a time, and I was on the SWAT team until just recently. I had to set that aside, and that's kind of part of it. One of the bittersweet parts of taking on the new role is that there's certain things that you will not be doing as much anymore, or if at all ever again. So, yeah.
So now that you are the top cop in the city, I think Popo Chief, top cop. Remember all these little nicknames.
Yes.
Only out of respect and love.
Oh no, I love it.
But the reality of setting in on a job. What is your vision for the San Angelo Police Department now?
Yeah, I think as we move forward, we're going to look at the first priority is to anytime you have an election, right, involving our police department, there's always some fences that need to be mended, right? There's always things that we want healing for our department, and then even for the community, there's making sure that people understand that we're moving forward together. We are truly better together. And the more that we can be San Angelo, and what I know San Angelo can be, right, is to lead the way, right? We're going to try to look at ways to innovate in areas of training. We're going to be looking at truly providing a level of transparency that's never been seen before. We'll be doing press conferences on the regular.
Okay.
And that means even on the bad regular, right? Ooh. So when things don't go the way we want them to go, or where maybe we have something happen that we wish would not have happened, I think ultimately, especially in our setup with being an elected chief, the buck stops with me. Right? Okay. And so when something like that does happen, because we're people, that we address the issues and the shortcomings, and we address the wins as well. Champion good police work. We just had a case that got a substantial amount of time off of a homicide case. So let's talk about the wins. Right?
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm thinking over here.
You're thinking?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm thinking. See the brain ticking?
Yeah. Well, what do you see now that I understand getting the department unified, getting the morale up to where it's hopefully a lot better. What do you see as the major challenge as far as law enforcement in general?
Well, first and foremost, there is the lowest turnout for recruits nationwide, right? I mean, there's a multifaceted issue with that, but we're going to have to look at where we're going to recruit from, who are we recruiting, what type of time and energy we're going to put towards that.
Okay.
Currently we're right about 20 officers down.
Wow.
That's a big chunk. We have 180 sworn positions for the San Angelo Police Department, but when you start pulling 20 of those, then resources, time, and energy has to be really mitigated. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it?
During the last negotiations, one of the biggest issues was salary.
Yes, sir.
And being commensurate with the other departments.
Yes, sir.
Your biggest competition seems to be other departments, including DPS as
Yes,
well as some other city departments. How can we get incentives for men and women to join the San Angelo Police Department in lieu of the salaries that are being paid out?
Yeah, so all we can do is continue to work towards, even with it being, we had the largest raise that we've received in recent history. That doesn't take away from any of the hard work of the city getting us there or anything like that. But just the reality is that as our metric moves, so does other cities, right? And so what we're seeing right now is that Abilene, right, very close right down the road, right? Even with all the biggest raises we've seen, we're still, because everybody else's numbers keep moving, because the profession of law enforcement has fewer people turning out. And I think how we bolster that in our community is through programs that are like the Citizens Police Academy that we used to do, getting the Citizens Police Academy back up and running, and then also let's work with our school district and get a Citizens Police Academy set up in our high schools, right?
Wow.
So that not necessarily quite like an Explorer program, but more, a 4-week process, 6-week process that they're able to come in. We'll bring people from the SWAT team, our drone team, our detectives, our canines, and let them really understand what we do, because we're seeing a disconnect from what we see online versus what with TikTok and all these social media platforms of what the police do versus what the reality of what police do.
Wow.
So,
well, we're going to take a look at some more detail of what our new chief has to encounter and what that means for the city of San Angelo. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins. We'll be right back after these messages. The definition of an expert is a person who has comprehensive knowledge, skill, and experience in a particular field. Michelangelo was an expert in sculpting and painting. But if you're looking for an expert in transmissions, then look no further than Gray's Transmissions. So if you find yourself in need of a new transmission, you need to make sure you have someone with expertise and experience.
We should know because we're the experts.
Need an oil change? Then Gentle Touch Fast Lube on Sherwood Way is where you need to be. We are a safety inspection station, checking all fluids and your air filter. We have major brands of oil, both synthetic and regular. Here's what customers are saying about Gentle Touch Fast Lube.
Fast Lube gets me in and out. Fantastic job, fantastic crew. They get me in and out.
Celebrating our 29th anniversary, fast, friendly, and family-owned Gentle Touch Fast Lube. And now, back to Real Talk with the Jenkins. We're back, and you're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins. Travis, as we come out of this commercial break, how about driving? Is that a concern?
Yeah, so as the interesting aspect of having an elected chief, right, I went to thousands of doors, and some of those people saw me on the Ring doorbell. Some of them I got to talk to, and some thought I was selling solar. But the ones that I was able to talk to, and it was a crazy number, we're talking about the driving issue that we're seeing in San Angelo, which is not just unique to San Angelo, it's important to note. But we are seeing people that are driving a lot more aggressively. And in my preparation to run for chief, we looked at some things that other departments are doing. And one of those things that was brought up was traffic enforcement. And what we're seeing is a more comprehensive approach to aggressive driving. So most people, when they see the police, what do you do when you're speeding or something? When you see the police, yeah, we're going to slow it down, right? We're going to presence and getting more people out on patrol. So we're going to be working with City Council to provide some overtime adjustments to be able to put more people where they need to be. So more presence will slow them down. But also, when we're doing that enforcement, we're going to be utilizing some vehicles that are going to be a lot more subdued. So they won't look like the police. We'll be patrolling the loop, which, as a lot of people know, the loop gets some pretty high traffic. You got something going on in your life. We understand, and most cops aren't out there just trying to hammer people. But whenever you're doing multiple violations, which is what that aggressive driver is looking for, you're speeding well over the 10 miles above the speed limit. You're tailgating, which we call following too closely. You're doing aggressive lane changes. A lot of times we'll see people that are also eating food and chewing their hair and all this stuff. That we want to make sure that we're making it safer, San Angelo. The goal is not to just give a bunch of tickets out. The goal is to get people into compliance.
Wait a minute, you mean you can't do your hair while you're driving?
Right. And really, I mean, we see all sorts of stuff, even in a marked car, but imagine what you would see in a much different approach to a car that you don't know it's the police until the lights come on. And we're going to make sure that we do a big push when we get that equipment in place and show people, hey, this is the car, because we're going to tell them first, right? Show them the car. This is what it's going to be. If you're going to drive aggressively, then we'll find somebody. You'll meet one of our officers, right? So that's kind of the goal, is to just make people think twice. We get in such a hurry. We have all the technology at our fingertips, and that makes us all think go a little faster. Not because I got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. Let's all slow down and realize that we can be better neighbors on the road.
Yeah, coming here today, there was a police officer next to me, and of course I was driving because I seen that car. Yes. And then he turned off somewhere, I don't know where, but I was at the stop sign, and I went to take off, and this car was coming down.
Yep.
And it was flying, and she had a stop sign. And I'm like, is she going to hit me? And she just turned.
Right.
She didn't do no hard stops. And I was like, where's that police officer?
Right. There's an old saying that there's never a cop when you need one, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing, is because people will look for those. It's an indicator they're looking for, the police, right? I mean, and so then they see that and they know they're not there. They're gonna drive like we're not there, right?
Yes.
So the concept is start thinking, hey, we don't know what the police is going to pop out of, right? Like we're going to actually, it could be a regular looking car, and you're blowing past it doing 80 on the loop.
You can put some lights on my car.
Same thing. So I've been driving an unmarked vehicle, and I used to work in an unmarked capacity for a long time, and so we see the people, right? And they're not bad people. That's the thing. It's just we have bad habits, right? And so getting those habits back in line, we'll start by telling everybody we can about it, and then we'll start through an enforcement program that maybe starts with a bunch of warnings to start with, and then we'll start rolling out any and all enforcement happens.
Yeah.
When you think of community policing,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
what goes through your mind as far as reaching out? You mentioned the Citizen Academy earlier.
Yes, sir.
That's certainly one.
Yes, sir.
What goes through your mind when you lay out the plan for a more effective community policing?
So a lot of it's going to be based off of changing our districts. Right now we're running a pretty large district approach to our officers, meaning the areas that they patrol, right? If you have a very large area that you're patrolling, it's much harder for you to get to know the people that are in that district. Issue that you run into with, and it's not an excuse, it just means it's a challenge that we run into, but the issue we run into with smaller districts means that people are constantly rotating in and out of that because we're so short on patrol. So if everybody's there, then those districts can be the same person all the time, every time, right? But then somebody calls in sick, then you got to bump that person. Somebody's got to fill that spot, and then that changes everybody else's spot. And so there's a cascade effect there. But ultimately, when I get to where we have the same officers in the same district, have them be responsible for trying to not just, the interesting part of protect and serve, right? is we do a lot of service, right? I mean, that's the biggest part of it. We call it law enforcement, but really it's a service role, right? So if we can get out there and try to isolate locations where people, maybe there's an area where drugs started being sold out of an abandoned house, right? Or we start to see a bunch of people congregating for doing reckless driving in some of these. Not all car groups are bad, but some car groups like to get out there and do that. So looking for issues in the neighborhoods, what we're looking at. We find people selling drugs, we find people that are issues in panhandling or some type of thing that is causing problems in the neighborhood. They're going to be more aware of that, right? So getting people out there to go to different events that are regular police officers, not just having one person do it. Hey, this is your area, take some time, go these events are going on in your area. So being intentional about the events that are happening, have them stop by, say hello, give them some stickers. We're all going to be doing a little bit more of that PR type role, but also it's almost like a parent, right? As a parent, you have a role of an aspect, a smaller portion than people probably think about, but of being a friend, right? Of being an enforcer and of being something that you can run to.
According to the FBI crime stat report, serious crimes are decreasing. But what is that true, or is that happening?
I mean, some of those numbers are a little bit behind, so I can't give you exact numbers. We're going to be working through, and I'm sure y'all probably heard me talk about it on my platform of having a Chiefs Advisory Board. Doesn't take away that we still have our problems, but they're not quite to that level. And I think the more we intentionally apply community-oriented policing, the good parts of it, because to be honest, there's some bad, and then also be real about trying to inform people. So that Chiefs Advisory Board, where regular people can come in and find out what's happening, what are we seeing in these different districts. I'd like to base those off of the districts for the city council districts, and that would give us the ability to be able to bring in some other aspects of the city to help them.
Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back in a moment. But you're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. We're with Chief Travis Griffith, the new Chief of Police in the city of San Angelo. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ. And we are the Jenkins.
Real Talk with the Jenkins. We'll be right back after these messages. Need an oil change? Then Gentle Touch Fast Lube on Sherwood Way is where you need to be. We are a safety inspection station, checking all fluids and your air filter. We have major brands of oil, both synthetic and regular. Here's what customers are saying about Gentle Touch Fast Lube.
Fast Lube gets me in and out. Fantastic job, fantastic crew. They get me in and out.
Celebrating our 29th anniversary, fast, friendly, and family-owned Gentle Touch Fast Lube. The definition of an expert is a person who has comprehensive knowledge, skill, and experience in a particular field. Michelangelo was an expert in sculpting and painting. But if you're looking for an expert in transmissions, then look no further than Gray's Transmissions. So if you find yourself in need of a new transmission, you need to make sure you have someone with expertise and experience.
We should know good word experts.
And now, back to Real Talk with the Jenkins.
We're back, and you're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ.
And we are the Jenkins. And our friend and new police chief for the city of San Angelo is Travis Griffith, and we thank God for him. And we wanted to just find out what's going on. What are some of the new changes that are going to take place in the city of San Angelo? So tell us about your direction as far as community. We mentioned community service, but responding to neighborhood calls, for example.
Yeah, so I think as we look at the options for the smaller districts, we'll have a little better response times. We'll have a little better. We'll take technology, which would give us geographical ability to dispatch, which we've already been utilizing, but putting them into a smaller area then makes it to where that unit can respond quicker.
Okay.
So the geographical dispatch means that it's keeping track of you like Google Maps, right? And then when it drops a pin, it will show you, hey, you're the closest one to that pin automatically. So it just takes out some of the human error there. And then when you're in that smaller area patrolling, and that's your district to take care of, then you'll be able to get there quicker. So the more we can have this faster response times, and then have the latitude of officers. So we want to look at past just going or somewheres and arresting the bad guy and throwing him in jail, right? Because sometimes it's more nuanced, complicated than that, right? So and what we're trying to look at is how many times and let's be honest, there's a lot of times we go to calls that the vast majority of times we get a call, we can't arrest anybody, right? There's not a criminal offense, or it's not appropriate to the circumstances, whatever it might be. In those circumstances, we want officers to look a little bit past the surface, right? So let's just take an example for, if you have a lot of people argue, right? What do you think the number one argument is about couples? Top two.
Top two, infidelity and money.
There you go. And that's probably the top two we see. I think money's probably right there, the close number one, right? And yeah, hey, I think you're spending too much time talking to my sister, or my cousin, or whatever, right? Always. But if we can look at that, so we can offer options for through a free platform that we're going to work towards getting on board, where officers can tell them, hey, listen, what's the argument? What are y'all fighting about, right? What's the argument about? And they say it's about money, right? We're about to lose our apartment. We don't have the money to afford this. We don't know where we're going to go. She's spending too much money on this. He's spending too much money on this. Then we would have the option there to say, hey, well, listen, Concho Valley Community Action Agency has homeless prevention funds. If you're about to be forced onto the street or have to go move into somebody's house that's just going to be a living room, you're going to stay in for sleeping on a couch, let me put you in contact with them. The city has homeless prevention funds, right? A lot of these officers don't. I didn't know this, right, until I start working through some of these different programs. And so getting those resources to them, because if we go there on the first domestic we have, right, and we provide those resources, because you're to the point where you're arguing with your wife or husband about something, you're already amped up. You don't give a whatever I'm giving you, like whatever, man. But if somebody was to call you the next day from Concho Valley Community Action Agency or from the city and say, hey, we offer some options here and we wanted to talk to you about that, you think that's got to be something more received, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so we're understanding the circumstances that we're being responded to. We're understanding here's where we're at. That's where I see the ability for us to start. And you can do that. You can apply that to mental health services. You're just depressed. You can apply that to counseling between the relationship if there is some kind of alleged infidelity. Hey, here's some biblical counseling. Here's some regular marriage counseling. These options that are out there. And we run into legal problems. Is probably another top 5 in there.
Yes.
Here's Legal Aid of West Central Texas, right? How you can get some help to help with child custody or whatever it might be. Trying to get those resources to the right time at the right place.
Are you going to have an open door policy?
Yeah, we for sure. Any citizen can come down and talk about it. I think big thing is we want to empower our people. So when it comes to internally, any officer can come down and talk about ideas they have, things they want to see done. We're definitely going to do that. But when it comes to like maybe issues you're having your supervisor, it needs to make sure it goes to the next supervisor and then to the next supervisor. But also when it comes to the citizens, I don't want it to just be like, hey, I'm your fix-all, right?
Yeah.
We're going to empower the people that are mid-level supervisors. So our command staff's going to be able to, hey, you call me, you come in, you tell me about something going on, and be like, hey, I'm not going to go fix your problem because I have a lot of stuff to be able to do, right?
Yes.
We're going to put you in contact with the commander of that division, and they'll be the one that's going to be able to work through getting you in the right people to where it needs to be to help fix the problems.
Yes.
I think that's just a cleaner approach to be able to address issues as they come up.
Yes.
Well, we certainly thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Oh man, it's been a pleasure.
The Chief of Police of San Angelo and Chief Popo. Popo Chief.
Yes.
But we thank you so much. We're joking a lot, but we're very serious about how much we're excited about our new police chief and the vision that he has for the city. And we want to thank you for taking the time to be with us on Real Talk with the Jenkins. So
just keep your new chief of police in prayer.
Oh yes, please.
Yes.
You know that he will be a police chief of integrity for protection for him because he is human as well.
That's right. And we're going to pray for his family as well.
Yes.
Too, that they continue to do well.
Yes.
And we want to thank you again for allowing us to come into your homes once again. You're watching Real Talk with the Jenkins. I'm Dr. G.
I'm Lady MJ, and we are the Jenkins.
Hello, I'm Gary Jenkins, president of the Gospel America Television Network. We're working hard to provide streaming service to pastors worldwide to share the good news of Jesus Christ with people in every nation. And here's one of our broadcast partners to tell you more about us.
I'm Pastor Pope of Galilee Missionary Baptist Church, and we as a church have had the pleasure of being affiliated with Gospel America Network for the last 2 years. And I'll tell you that it is wonderful to know that we are able to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to a worldwide audience. Not so that we can lift up our name, but that we can lift up the name of Jesus. I mean, the Lord has blessed us. I mean, we're not a huge, large church with a giant budget, but working with Apostle Gary Jenkins and the Gospel America Network, he was able to find a way for us to be able to come to a worldwide audience without having to break the bank. Come to a worldwide audience each week and to share the good news, to fellowship with the world, to let the world know that Jesus is alive. So I have to tell you that for us, being with Gospel America Network is something that we would not trade for the world. We are so thankful that God has blessed us with this particular opportunity, and we look forward to continuing our relationship with Gospel America. Why? Because the Lord has told us that we are to go out into the highways and the byways and the hedges, and that we are to bring them in. Well, what better way to do that than use all of the means that God has given us? Gospel America Network is one of those means. Apostle, I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity. May God bless you all, and may God keep you. Amen.
If you'd like to know more about broadcasting on the Gospel America Television Network, give us a call at 203-410-6053. And you can email us at gospelamericachannel@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we're so grateful to Pastor John Pope and all of the folks at the Galilee Missionary Baptist Church in San Angelo.
This is the Gospel America Television Network, broadcasting worldwide on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and online at www.gospelamerica.net. Download our app from the App Store or from Google Play and watch us on your tablet or smartphone 24 hours a day.
Now you can get certified as a Christian marriage and family counselor at Lincoln Bible College. It offers both online and group on-site programs that make it easy for you to become a certified Christian marriage and family counselor. You will be trained to make client assessment and evaluations through the consistency of Scripture, utilize Christian counseling techniques and strategies, establish stronger marriages, families, and generations, and much more. Go to www.christiancounselorcertification.org and get certified today. That website is www.christiancounselorcertification.org and get certified today. Streaming worldwide, this is the Gospel America Television Network.